Israeli are criminals and that they are not trusted people. They don't tell the world the truth. They were taken to Palestine as refugees.
Kenyans are angry that an Israeli man wants to bring teenagers from their country into Kenya after buying 520 acres of land in Solai in Nakuru County.
Were not properly licensed and were illegal. So it's not an illegitimate concern that Kenyans are raising about the land owned by Revkin.
So there is an outrage on the internet about Israeli investor who has bought over 520 acres of land in Kenya. Currently he is farming on the land and he says he is going to advance by building estates on these farmlands. Also, I have Idi Amin, whom some time ago when he was the president of Uganda, a similar thing was about to happen in his country, but he sacked all the Israelis from his country. I have videos of people sharing their experiences in the Middle East. So some Americans talking about this particular thing that is currently happening in Kenya.
This Israeli developer is building a controversial real estate project in Kenya.
We want people who come to live with us and live our dream together with us.
And people across Kenya are outraged.
Africa is getting recolonized. That's a fact.
Is Kenya losing land to Israel?
Colonial Israel is getting ready to enter the fray.
The developer says he wants Israelis to come to Kenya and create an agricultural community with Kenyans.
We want to bring the dream of a community between Israeli teenager and Kenyan teenager.
How did you identify this land?
I think God brought me here.
But this Kenyan lawyer who wrote about the plan says many in the country feel it dredges up memories of when Kenya was a British colony.
To see new people coming in, buying large tracts of land, reawakens that feeling of dispossession. And then the added drama of it being an Israeli person in the midst of the genocide.
Many Kenyans learned about the 520-acre land development project when the Israeli investor was interviewed on a Kenyan TV show. The show normally features Kenyan stories, but this episode featured his pitch to sell residential and vacation homes on land he says will include a school, a mall, infinity pools, and even zip lines.
These are up for grabs. You can have your home here.
You can have it here. This is a piece of dream.
For many, anger stems from where this project is located. A privately owned dam in this very region collapsed in 2018. The flooding killed dozens and displaced thousands.
For years, they tried to seek compensation from the government, but there was radio silence. The next thing that we hear about Solai is the settlement, 520 acres and a foreigner.
Jahira says the controversy around the plan also brought to light a little-known fact about Kenyan history.
In the past, before settling on Palestinian land, one of the options considered was Uganda and Kenya.
It's true. In 1904, the Zionist Congress sent a commission to explore Kenya as an option for Jewish settlement.
Before the British decided to finally pick Palestine.
Today, Kenya actually has strong ties to Israel. The Kenyan government has been one of Israel's closest partners in Africa for decades. Israel has trained the Kenyan army, and Kenyan authorities have used Israeli security technology to spy on activists.
Israel then becomes the face of oppression for Kenyans. We would probably be one of those countries to provide the avenue, together with Somaliland and their recognition, for Israel to establish more bases here. And so it cannot therefore be said that a land ownership can be innocuous when we juxtapose it with all these other actions that we feel Israel is responsible for in the country.
While it may be true that for some, this project is an attractive land development plan, for others, it's raised complicated political questions and brought painful historic legacies back to the surface.
We don't want to go back to the times when we had to fight for our own land.
Is Kenya losing land to Israel?
What?
Let's talk about this guy. His name is Erez Revkin, and he allegedly owns 520 acres of land in Solai, Nakuru County. So he has spent 15 years building greenhouses, solar panels, park houses, and boreholes, and now a master planned residential retreat where he has invited buyers to purchase a plot and plug into his farming value chain for income. Bado akona plans za kubuild an infinity pool, I don't know what that means, a zip line, a restaurant, and an open mall that is 70% done, and an agricultural international school. Looks like a beautiful project, and I'm sure the community is proud of the progress. But there is a problem being raised. Under the Kenyan constitution, a foreigner cannot own freehold land and can only lease land for up to 99 years. As Alex Chamoda showed the progress, Wakenya waliona tu land, and it's normal because our generation and the older generations grew up knowing the most important thing is what? Land. Na pia, Solai, the area that the Israel guy has invested in, has been in the limelight not so long ago. On 9th May 2018, a dam owned by another foreigner by the name Mansukul Patel burst, killing at least 48 people. The Water Resources Management Authority came out ikasema that the dams on the property were not properly licensed and were illegal. So it's not an illegitimate concern that Kenyans are raising about the land owned by Revkin. Na hii kiendelea, county government ya Nakuru imepartner na Israel to bring an establishment of a Nakuru Israel Agri-Tech demonstration and training farm that would serve as a learning hub for local farmers and professional exchange programs that would provide opportunities for Nakuru experts to train in Israel. But anyway, back to Revkin. His operation appears genuinely productive. He has used local materials in building, he has employed many locals, but Kenyans cannot forget what happened the last time foreigners possessed their land. The National Land Commission, according to Kenya Insights, has not addressed whether a non-citizen can legally be the ultimate beneficiary of a freehold residential development. So, should Kenyans be worried? Honestly, I think the concern is valid, but we also cannot ignore the jobs and investment. The real question is the law being followed? And until the National Land Commission gives us an answer, the tension won't go away. You can share this video widely for people to understand. I'm Eric Mugo, and this is News Diary.
Kenyans are angry that an Israeli man wants to bring teenagers from their country into Kenya after buying 520 acres of land in Solai in Nakuru County. Listen to this.
We want to bring the dream of a community between Israeli teenager and Kenyan teenager. So in Israel we have a school that's called Land and Earth, and we want to open here another branch of the school for Kenyan people. So we want that the Kenyan people will come to visit Israel and Israeli will come to visit here. So we will create a community of knowledge, information, and friends between Israel country and Kenya country.
According to an interview by Alex Chamwada, Erez Rifkin is using some of that land for commercial farming purposes. He has planted herbs, flowers, and even vegetables, and he is also selling some of that land to either build residential homes or holiday vacation homes. However, some netizens are not happy that Myahudi has a piece of land in Kenya, and this is what they had to say. Purity said soon they will have a base there and push some of the community out and claim the area as theirs, in the sense they have developed it, just like they are doing it in Gaza. Tommy said Palestinians welcomed them. Now we can clearly see the results. Kenya needs to be careful with immigration and property ownership. Anthony said we need to change these foreign land leases from 99 years to 10 years. And from my knowledge of the law, no agriculturally viable land is to be sold to a foreigner unless under special circumstances. And we must have a limit as to how much total land area can foreigners own under lease in Kenya. Rifkin says this is a family business. He has employed over 800 workers in Nakuru, and he has been in Kenya for around 15 years.
Then you change completely from an Israeli alliance to the Arab alliance.
I changed from Israeli alliance because Israeli are criminals and that they are not trusted people. They don't tell the world the truth. They were taken to Palestine as refugees, and then they changed Palestine to become a state of Israel by force of arms given to them by Americans and the British.
But is it true that you said Hitler didn't kill enough Jews during the war?
Why do you ask me about Hitler? The Hitler's problem is now past tense. Now we are looking forward for the future generations and the future plan. We are no longer going back to Hitler's. You see, the war of Hitler, it was a different war.
I'll start with a wow. People in my comments keep telling me that Jews in Israel just want to be left alone. They don't want Lebanese land. They don't want Gaza. They don't want the West Bank. They just want peace with their neighbors. Well, look at what happened in Gaza. Israel now occupies 60% of it and has no plans to leave. The Greater Israel Project is advancing. Last week, they voted to annex the West Bank. Now, Mark Zuckerberg's Instagram and Facebook are allowing ads like this on their platforms. Let's take a closer look. They are literally selling land in Lebanon. These ads are part of a campaign by the far-right Israeli settler group known as the Movement for Settlement in Southern Lebanon. They are offering occupied land with starting prices around 300,000 shekels, that's $80,000, often featuring luxurious property renderings and maps that include Lebanese areas. This is exactly what Israel does in the West Bank, and now they're doing it in Lebanon. They establish security outposts. Once those are in place, they start allowing settlement construction. Then they will push further north, build another outpost, and continue the occupation. To those in my comments who insist Israel doesn't want Lebanon, what do you have to say about this?
Kenyans, you can never mention about land without including the Kenya Freedom and Lands Army, or the famously called the Mau Maus. Now, mnashtuka, a farm in Israel is buying a huge tract of land in Nakuru, Solai. Did you know the government of Deputy Jesus, the chief disciple himself, William Ruto, leased 200,000 acres of land of Galana Kulalu project to the Emiratis, to the owners of Dubai? Are you aware of that? The deal is valued at $800 million, for your own information. For the next 99 years, the project in Galana Kulalu, the people will benefit are the Dubai people, the Emiratis. And yet, the Duale guy the other day was expecting food donation amid prolonged drought in Kenya from none other than the United Arab Emirates. You know, Kenyans, these issues of land, I want to jog your mind back during the eras of Mau Mau. Did you know Mau Mau was classed as a terrorist organization until the year 2003, when Mwai Kibaki lifted that ban on them? Were you aware of that? Did you know what Jomo Kenyatta called them? He called them disease because they fought for the land and the freedom of their people. He called them a disease that needs to be cut and forgotten. Moi kept the ban going on. Jomo Kenyatta kept the ban going on because they felt it is going to be a symbol of resistance when Mau Mau was going to be acknowledged. And then you still believe that the British government are the ones who hid the graveyard of Dedan Kimathi? Unaamini bado? Do you know if Dedan Kimathi's graveyard is going to be identified today? I'm telling you, no president in this country, Jomo Kenyatta, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, Mwai Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, no president is going to stand the wrath of the people, because Dedan Kimathi will become a symbol of resistance. And that is why in 2024, when we had the maandamano, there was that young man, alikuwa anasimama pale karibu na Dedan Kimathi statue. What were we called after that? Treasoners. It took somebody like Richard Leakey coming into Kenya in the 1950s, akaenda akafukua the remains of Ramapithecus, Astropithecus, Kenyapithecus, the fossils in Lake Turkana and Kubifora and Hyrax Hills. Apparently, close to 60 years down the independence, mpaka sai we cannot find the grave and the grave site of Dedan Kimathi. I want to tell you, it's not even the British government that is hiding Dedan Kimathi. It is the very same Kenyan government, because they know the significance Dedan Kimathi is going to carry when it comes to struggle for resistance and self-determination of the Kenyan youths. Meanwhile, mbona mjawahi sikia uchungu the way our freedom fighters have been living? Do you know how General Musa Mwariama died in 1989? He died because he was trying to save his friend by sucking a snake venom out of his hand. Field Marshal Mudhoni Kirima walimfanyia juzi mchango wakati alikufa. Stanley Madenge, we don't know where he is. General Kago, wote walizikwa tu. In whatever way they wish. If today there are people who will be comfortable, ata wapewe 1 million per month, it is the freedom fighters. It is the likes of Dedan Kimathi, General Musa Mwariama, General Baimimbu, even the Nandi resistance movement. These are the people who fought for the struggle of our country and the struggle for land. Nakwambia Mau Mau, they terrorized and they brutalized the British. Walimaliza watu because of the land and the freedom of their people. So sai munashtuka. Musishtuke. More and more is going to be leased. Turkey will come. USA will come. Hapo Murima Hills, very nice. Sai, ebu mwende mwangele 200,000 acres of land. Dubai is sai wanapawa. Alafu nasikia Duale anaenda pale ndege. We thank so much the government and the Emiratis of Dubai for the food donation. And yet Kenya is a net exporter of agriculture sector. Dubai is a net importer because it's a desert country. You see, where Kato hapo to some atomic habits, you know, rich dad, poor dad, why A students work for C students. When these key issues, I'm telling you, of resistance is mentioned, it's only those people with the spiritual awakening who will understand this. Yes. Sahi hapa Kenya, the people who are buying land left, right and center, enda pale Nanyuki, go to the politics of conservancies. The British monarchies are buying lands in the name of conservancies left, right and center. Olpejeta, hapo Nyeri, the rhinoceros camp. You want to tell me the Kikuyus and the Maasais tulikuwa tunaua wanyama wakati wazee wetu walikuwa naishi na hawa? No. You create a conservancy, you lock out people. Go to Turkana, go to Baringo, go to Isiolo. Step into those conservancies, ndugu yangu, utapigwa bunduki from far because they have snipers. It is the lords and the kings who are managing these things. Lakini munashtuka. Sasa hii ya Israel imepatikana hapa. Kenyans, we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. Nakwambia kama mpaka sasa yuko kuamini hapo that there are a lot of things that the Kenyan government is doing for you, you are a joker. And I end by saying, the people who hid the grave and the remains of Mau Mau fighter Dedan Kimathi, it is not the British. It is the very same Kenyan government, because they know the impact the burial site of Kimathi will bring to the youths of this country. And it is up to us, vijana wa inchi, tufuate in the footstep of what Mau Mau left for us. Hii maneno itapita na hapa, itatoka na hapa, lakini tuzidi kumakinika wa Kenya. Alhamdulillah.
Kenyans, we don't learn from our mistakes, and this ignorance is concerning. Last week, niliwatch documentary inaitwa Daring Abroad by Alex Chamwada. This documentary ni a place inaitwa Solai. Before tuendelee na documentary, let's take a trip down memory lane. In 2017, Israeli president visits Kenya. Unye alikuwa preso at that time. Aya, in 2018, Patel Dam devastatingly collapses. Ikamadawase more than 45, half of the figure being children. This also led to the displacement of the natives who occupied that area. Apparently, investigations for this incident has never been fully solved till date. Hii area ndo inaitwa Solai in Nakuru County. Hell of a coincidence, right? Now, recent reports have shocked the national headlines that it has been uncovered that this flooded land and the area surrounding it, measuring 530 hectares, has been bought by the Israel community. 530 yote, kwani plan yao ni wicha? Ukitaka kujua more about this in detail, watch a YouTube video. Let's jump right into the facts. Israel is known internationally for being the main cause of deaths, instability and anarchy pale Palestine since way back in 1948 till date. Ukiwauliza why brutally attack them, wanakwambia ati ni juu the land in Palestine was promised to them by God in the Bible. Inafai kuonyeshe how heartless and greedy people can actually become. And it's devastating that even after all this is known internationally, the Kenyan government still allowed them to own land in our country. Keeping in mind that more than 73,158 Palestinians and counting have lost their lives in their hands till date. Mistake yao ilikuwa gani? Because they chose to fight for their land. Every sane country has strict land ownership laws. Lakini Kenya ni nani? Ndugu ya Singapore. Whole time, Kenyans are busy with the Russian guy and campaigning. Fellow Kenyans, fix your priorities before it's too late. Stop being part of a circus that will lead to your grave. Na sijui nani atawasaidia. Juu nikiangalia pale Palestine, usaidizi most washaipata ni kupostiwa pale Gram story. Au viongozi wenyu, instead of fighting and disobeying these agendas in parliament na hizo offices zao, au already walishaanzanga campaign. Last question. Gava itakubaliaje watu wajenge kwa place isha experience flood, not unless hiyo flood inaweza kuwa ni riba za jaba. In Kenya, nothing is a coincidence. So think twice and extra before making a decision. Note this. President wa Israel is a wanted criminal by the International Criminal Court. Na hajawahi shikwa. Wananchi. Nyinyi wananchi ama wenye nchi? Food for thought. Repost this video so that it can educate as many Kenyans as possible. Jukwenye mnaelekea.
Erez Rivkin is an Israeli national who owns 520 acres of farmland in Soleil, if I'm saying that correctly, Kenya. I tried to look up the exact date of purchase. I could not find a date of purchase, but I did see that he has been involved with Kenya for more than 15 years. He says that he plans to export rosemary and other crops to European countries and integrate Israeli teenagers into Kenyan society. Now, there are a lot of opinions on this. Some opinions saying that they don't care about what's going on around the world. They're not going to turn away investors, even if they're Israeli. But there are other people like this individual Lynn, a Kenyan influencer, says, quote, "What I find absurd is people trying to acquire large tracts of land here and then saying it's because Israeli teenagers can then integrate with Kenyan teenagers. Integrate how exactly? You benefit from our soil and cheap labor, and history has shown us that once interests are secured, you won't hesitate to distance yourselves from ordinary Kenyans." That's the concern people are raising. I found this laughable, that's why I want to share it, but immediately the response from Israeli society to the outrage that Kenyans are feeling by this 520-acre project is it's anti-Semitism. It's anti-Semitism because God forbid they have an opinion about large tracts of farmland being used in their country and how it's used, especially when Kenyan labor is going to presumably be used. I mean, they're not importing Israelis to be the farm hands, right? I feel like it's also important to remind people that originally the Zionist Convention considered establishing the state of Israel in Uganda. They eventually settled on Palestine, which again defeats all of their religious arguments, but they have an interest in Africa. Netanyahu not too long ago said once they liberate the Arabs, they're going to liberate the black people of Africa. Like, what are you talking about? I don't even know why we brushed over that so quickly. But given what we've seen from Israel's behavior in Cyprus, in Palestine, in Lebanon, in Syria, in Yemen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, everything needs to be taken with a grain of salt. So even though there are Kenyans that are saying, well, it's just an investment, we're going to see it just as an investment, I'm sorry. I don't see it as anything positive, and I can't see it as anything positive. And I would just say, be careful.
Kenyans are concerned. In 2018, a dam collapsed in a place called Solai, displacing the people who originally lived there. 7 years later, this land has been bought aggressively by guess who? The answer is Israeli citizens. Kenyans have observed this pattern of aggressive land buying in other countries, and they are concerned that their country might be next in the chopping block. So, do you think this incident should...
This voicemail goes to people of Kenya. Israeli BlackRock bought city called most fertilized city of the Kenya, Nakuru, for a couple of million Kenyan shilling. Now estimated between 100,000 to 500,000 Israeli war criminals are moving into Kenya. Stand united, free city of Nakuru right now, and remove BlackRock out of the Kenya. BlackRock and Standard Bank of South Africa are controlling Kenyan land right now.
I just hope this is false, because if this is true, we might really be screwed. Especially with the war going on in Iran, Kenya seems to be a destination where they really consider to come. So, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think Kenyans should be concerned, especially with the activities of BlackRock in the United States of America? Let me know your answer in the comments section.
Hey, so I uploaded a video last year, where I detailed all the African countries that were planning on selling land to foreign entities so that they can build satellite tech cities. I listed all the countries and the acreage of land that they were going to get. Nigeria is one of them. Kenya is one of them. I listed it. I made that video. It didn't go viral, but it got like 50,000 to 100,000 views total, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm saying this because people keep sending me videos and reels and news stories about Israelis buying 5,000 acres in Nakuru city in Kenya, and I'm like, but I already uploaded a video 2 months ago talking about, hey, look at what they're planning. They plan on buying cities in every country. They're planning on building and installing themselves in there, and from there they're going to be a hub of power. I said it. They're building basically what is the name of this fucking town in South Africa that is for whites only? That's what they're building. I made a video about it. I don't know no one said anything, no one did anything, y'all just sat down on your asses, continued watching my videos in the comments talking about, oh yeah, Africa is doomed, white man cannot do it, Jesus will save us. I don't know what the fuck y'all want. I made a video about this a couple months ago, and now that it's been announced that Israelis have bought land in Kenya, I made a video about it. The Kenyans did nothing. I don't know what you want me to do.
So now, there are reports that have come out that an Israeli investor has reportedly leased 520 acres of land in Kenya's Rift Valley. Now, with plans to develop a large agricultural project alongside residential and commercial facilities. Now, hii project imeleta story mingi sana kwa mtandao. Reason being, it may bring up that whole conversation ya kitambo about foreigners and them being given land. And there are people who see it as an investment, job creation, agricultural innovation.
Yeah, and boost of development and productivity.
And others see that it's going to have long-term implications for local communities.
Which is almost true because of land and sovereignty. We know that.
And history.
And the historical.
There's history.
The historical part of it, yes.
But I decided to do some
research.
And I just decided to get key details of this land project.
Okay.
Of course, from some reports online. Now, the project nature, first of all, this is a private project. This is a private
so
project.
So it's not the government investing. It's a
not
private investor.
Yeah, it's not a government project. It's a private investor. Now, there's mixed use development combining commercial agriculture, and greenhouses, irrigation, and then there is the planned residential plots, a school and tourism facilities. Then there's a controversy around it. People are asking, kwa nini mnawapatia this
huge chunk of land? Yeah,
exactly.
520 acres.
And then it also brings up the conversation about foreign control. Because as history has it, you know what happened to the people who were, for example, the people who were the first people to reside in Nairobi. It was their land. They wakasukuma kwa mahali penye. It's kind of semi-desert.
Yeah, true.
Right? And also it brings to how is this going to affect the local communities? Are they going to get jobs? Are we going to be having this conversation of ati mtu alikuja akachukua land yetu, sasa watoto wetu hawana mahali pa kwenda. This land is restricted because they lease this land. The locals can't access this land. There's that conversation.
You know, one of the saddest thing is that I don't even understand. The Christians still, they think, or some of them think, this is the Israel in the Bible. So they are supporting them 100% and they don't even know what they are supporting. That's the saddest part. They are in your country trying to take over. You see this man, what he said, and currently happening in Lebanon. They've done this to the Palestinians, and now in Lebanon, gradually they are growing their territory. And Africa, we are allowing this. In a few years to come, if you are a Kenyan, that country that you call your country will no longer be your country if you don't act fast. I know that Kenyans, you guys are really, really on matters when it comes to stuff that are not going on well with your government. Please, this is one of them. This is one of them. And don't turn a blind eye on this, because in few years, the country that you call your country will no longer be your country if you don't act. Other African countries watching this should also learn something from this and act whenever they see anything of that sort happening, because this is their plan and they want to buy land in each and every country and have control. This is what I have to say. Thank you so much for watching.